on the other side of that extreme place that I call suffering, call whatever you want, there's a whole nother world that people have not even examined. But you have to go to that extreme place to examine it. We want to stay here in this comfortable place. Once you're willing to push yourself to that extreme place, it's like a whole nother universe. It's almost like you're an astronaut and you've examined something like up in outer space. No, it's always been there. But you have to be going through all the muck and all the to examine it. You realize, wow, God, through all this crap, there's a whole nother universe over here in my mind. Whole nother universe. When I was in the worst time of my life in Hell Week, I looked at everybody and said, I'm the most trained person here.
Well, that's the truth.
I've gone through more mental torture than any of you all can even fathom. So I'm looking at the baddest people on the planet. I'm looking at them like this. You guys can't hold a stick. So I started looking at verses like, I don't belong here, versus like, I might be the baddest person to ever come here.
Wow.
Who could have pulled this off? Who could have been given a sewer to live in their mind and say, okay, at birth, I'm gonna put you in the worst place on the planet Earth and let me see if you can go to the top of the mountain with nothing. But just hard work, grit, and figuring it out and not putting yourself back in the dungeon every time something got hard. So that's what became my daily voice was, you really are the baddest person on the planet. And after a period of time, you start to believe that. We had this class that they designed, eat an elephant one bite at a time, self-talk, visualization, arousal control. It's all great. It's all great. It has to be a lifestyle. You work on mental callousing on a daily basis. Because even though your brain, your mind, like your brain isn't a muscle so much, you will lose it. You will lose the ability to suffer in the worst of times if you come out of it for too long. If you can lift 315 pounds and you stop going to the gym for a month, I guarantee you won't be able to pick the same weight up again. You're gonna find peace from going to war with yourself, because we all got people look at me. The reason why my story resonates with people, because I don't hide. I'll tell you exactly who the fuck I am. I will admit to it. People are great at hiding. So they want to just find peace. No, you got to take your shit, fix whatever's up in you. Don't just shove it under the rug. Fix it, and then you'll find some peace later. It's funny you talk about that. I work with a guy who's in a business like this for 5 years. I'm not gonna mention his name. He called me up 5 years ago and said, I want you to work with me. His job, a big day for them was if you had 5 meetings and 40 calls, $40. That was like, according to their big business plan, that was a day. He said, I want to make more money. All this just it's bogging me down. I said, this is your day? 5 meetings and 40 calls.
Like, do you start at 10 and end at 4?
And this company you work for says that this is a great day. This is what we want. I had this guy, one day, he made 1,000 cold calls and had 7 meetings. So his new norm, which is now the company, like how'd you become, he made 100,000, went to making $600,000 in 3 years. That's the jump he had. Just because his mindset changed, because the company put this label. This is what is a good day. A good day is 40 calls, 5 meetings. I said, that's a day because you're comparing yourself with mediocre people.
Bingo.
Do not run with mediocre people. I'm going to tell you how to beat these mediocre people. This is your new 300 dials and 8 meetings. And his whole world changed. When your mind, this is this whole 40% rule that I talk about all the time, that I made up a long time ago. I started making it up through pain.
Tell them what that is, what you go.
So basically the 40% rule is, I am a strong believer that we quit. Because why? How the f is a 297-pound cockroach guy who quit on everything is now considered one of the baddest men on the planet? How is that possible? It means I had to change one thing, my mindset. So there's no way in hell that was in me, but that guy was in me. When that guy came down here and said, hey, guess what, man? You're a fat ass, but I'm gonna now make you a badass. I want a miracle to be a badass. No, It was in me. I had to believe and make that belief work. And through hard work, I did that. So the 40% rule is like we have like a car. Some cars have a governor on it. And when you get to like 92 miles an hour, that car start doing this because it can't go any faster. Those cars that don't have governors on, like a fast ass, whatever, Porsche, whatever, that motherfucker bury it, gone. We have that ability in us, but we have put this governor on our minds. And you have to, the factory that put the governor on that car, the factory is now you. That put this in your mind. You gotta take that motherfucker off. Until you take it off, you're gonna constantly get to 92 miles an hour and do this. Because you ain't gonna go faster. As a matter of fact, you might even go slower. So basically, I started realizing this through my life, through going through all these times. I'm a big guy in visualizing. I'm a big guy in making a world, it may not exist. To me, it does. To me, it does. And I'm overpowering myself every day. And you gotta find tools to do that. That's the tool that I use. Anybody that can accomplish anything that is hard, the only separator is that they really want to be there. There's some people that get inspired, and that inspiration moves them to try to do something. But the inspiration is very high right now in this nice environment. We're in a nice environment, the ocean's out there. I'm talking to you, if I wanna go to the refrigerator and get something to drink, eat, I can. I watch a movie about some badasses, you're inspired. But the second you're not in this environment and you're actually doing what inspired you, that suck factor is now real. You can't just get off your couch and get a shake or get a box of donuts or turn the TV or go take a or go get your girlfriend to cuddle up. No, you're now there. And only those people who have been there 1,000,000 times in their minds and have lived in that water and have suffered 1,000,000 times and realize my legs may break, my knee may break, my bones will hurt. I will be the coldest I've been in my life. I will be miserable and accept that. Because what happens is when you get in a horrible situation in life, your mind, I call it my 1-second decision. When you get in a horrible situation in life, your mind immediately says, get the out of here. Everybody's does, even if you want to be there. But it starts to have all these different questions in your mind in that 1 second. And it says, okay, why are you here? Why are you doing this? Why this? Why that? And then you start to say to yourself, if you don't want to be there that bad, I have a beautiful wife at home, man. Why the f doing this, man? Like, this is stupid. This is gonna get these guys injured. Like they're gonna pay for this for the rest of their lives. I'm not gonna break my body up to do this. Your mind starts to say, yeah, this is stupid. But if you are already knowing that this is gonna happen to you, you have all the answers to these questions that your mind starts to give you when you're in suffer mode. No matter how far you get in life, you have to be able to go back to scratch in your mind at a moment's notice. You can never get so far beyond scratch. What that means is, when you accomplish something in life, if you want to go back to scratch and go back to that $7 a month place where I once lived and visit that place for a long period of time, if you were here, when you went back to scratch, you would now be here. Scratch is what makes you better. Scratch, friction, obstacles create growth. There's no friction when you're this far up in the game anymore. You think there is.
When you achieve,
that's right. When you achieve so much, the friction is minor. Because why? I'm sore, I'm gonna get a massage today. I'm hungry, I'm gonna eat today. The refrigerator is always full. So your comforts are now, so your discomfort is now very minuscule to your discomfort back here in the $7 a month place. So you have to go back to the total discomfort to then raise your level of where you're at now. I'm not saying stay there and stay there. Visit it. And then you raise your level.
Take a day trip.
That's right.
Yeah.
Always take day trips.
Yeah.
So before I start this journey to be Navy SEAL, I go back to see my dad because I realize now I gotta fix some shit. I'm blaming everything. I gotta go back. You know how a lot of times you're like, if you're a runner, your right knee may hurt, but it's not your right knee that hurts, it's really your left hip.
Yes.
But we're concentrating on the right knee. I'm concentrating on all my shit But I need to go back to the root of the problem, which is my dad. I gotta face the demon. I gotta go back and see what made him so up to make me so up. Why am I So I go back and I go back in as an older man now. I'm in my 20s. I'm not a kid anymore. And I want to see this man and face him as a grown man, but still as a kid in my head. I was still a kid, but I was a grown man as my age. I went back and I realized he was the same man that he was.
Still the same.
Still the same. And I talked to him, he was still nuts. And I had to go back and face that one more time, but to face it in a different way.
How'd you do it different?
I looked at him in a way, we never said sorry to one another. And he went off about my mom and my grandparents and all kind of. But I looked at him in a way that I realize now why you fucked this up. I had to almost be him to realize it's okay, brother. It's okay, because I realized that somewhere in your life, something fucked you up, and you didn't deal with it. And so you put that shit on me, my mom, and everybody around you. I'm gonna deal with my. So even though you gave me all this, you gave me a satchel of that I didn't deserve, and now I'm all. People think I'm a liar, and I'm all. You gave me this. You created this nightmare of Goggins. I'm gonna fix it though. For several years, I gave myself a way out.
When you were 300 pounds?
When I was 300 pounds, when I was, all the way up till I was 24 years old. I would climb a mountain, I'd fall back down. I start climbing, I fall back down. For the first 24 years of my life. I went to my first Hell Week, my second Hell Week, and then my third Hell Week came in SEAL training, and the CEO, Captain Bowen, looked at me. I'm on crutches, I'm all jacked up. He says, hey, this is your last time you're gonna go through buds. This is it. I had several stress fractures. I had double pneumonia, I was jacked up, and he gave me a few months to heal. He said, this is your last time going through. I shouldn't even let you go back through it.
Wow.
I started Navy SEAL training with stress fractures. Stress fractures,
That's
not shin splints.
That's hard to finish.
Stress fractures. Starting the hardest training, arguably the hardest training in the world with stress fractures. And this is when I started to not put a cap on the body if the mind is there. Every morning I would wake up at 3:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, go to my dive cage, go in there before anybody saw me. I'd get duct tape, and I would tape from my forefoot all the way up to the mid of my calf, and I would put 2 black socks on. And so I ran not using the pivot.
Oh my gosh.
And I ran my hip flexors. So for the first 45 minutes to an hour, I was in absolute excruciating pain. But what motivated me through that whole process was the fact that this kid came from that. I'm in the hardest training in the world, in the worst shape of my entire life. What if I can graduate amongst these studs?
Wow.
All these guys around me are studs. They're stallions, they're gladiators in my class. They're all healthy, most of them. They're not broken like this. They may have some, everybody's sick going through that training. But if I can graduate, it would change everything for me. If I can start the hardest training in the world, broken, and graduate. So my mind fed off of that. You are now, from the weakest man, you are now the hardest man to ever live. If you can do this. If you can do this. Life is one big mind game. And you're playing it with yourself. Is it true? I don't care. It got me through the hardest training, starting out broken. Where most people quit, I had just started.
Wow.
And when you take that mindset and you learn to flip that around, that's what made me powerful. And my body followed. And 3 months later, my stress fractures were healed by running on them.